Okay, hello everybody. If you're one of those folks that likes to be uber organized, let's start this Saturday with a review of a way to begin the puzzle before you've completed any of the empty cells. The first thing you may want to do is simply on the left-hand side, put the numbers 1 through 9, and then to the left of those numbers, count up the number of numbers that are using possibly a system like this, using the number of numbers that the puzzle has given you. And then every time you write one of the 9 numbers in, completing a cell, put a strike next to it, indicating that that's how many, and you know there is a total of 9 of each of the 9 numbers. So then as you complete a row of cells, simply put a check mark to the right of the completed rows. Here are 2 completed examples. When you've completed a column of cells, put a check mark underneath the column that was completed after checking it, of course, 1 through 9 or 9 through 1. And then when you complete a box, put some kind of a marking in the top corner of the box that's consistent. I happen to do it in the top right-hand corner. Here are 3 examples of boxes that were completed. Also, when a number is completed, I additionally first check, I hit something wrong here. First check for the going through the rows of boxes for the number, putting a single lateral line through it, and then through the column of boxes I check last, and I squiggle out the number, unless it's the number 1. Other than number 1, I circle it, knowing that I completed the 1. But you'll learn about my peculiarities. I don't know what this is because I hit something I didn't mean to hit. Oh, by the way, let me show you this. This is what it would look like completed. This is how I do it when it's totally completed. This is what my puzzle looks like. That way it's checked. And the great thing about Sudoku over crossword, you don't have to wait until the following day. There's only one way to correctly complete a Sudoku puzzle, which I think is especially enticing or positive. I'm going to raise the camera a bit on the tripod here because we're missing, there we go. I hope that's clear for you. Okay, so the good news is it looks like the number 1 is available to us in the middle row of cells. So I always like that. So right quick, I can tell by virtue of this one, the 1 is either going to go in there or there. Let's see if we can solve for that middle column of cells. I might have said row, I meant column. Columns are vertical, rows are lateral. Each of these are cells, each of these are boxes. Okay, so the way I identify the boxes really quick, this is the center box, this is the right box, this is the left box, this is the top box, this is the bottom box. Top right box, top left box, bottom left box, bottom right box. I do the same system within each cell. So let's use the middle box as an example, or the center box as an example. That is the center cell. That's the top cell within the center box or middle box. That's the bottom cell. That's the left cell. That's the right cell. That's the bottom right cell. That's the bottom left cell. Top left, top right. If you stay with that system, it's fairly simple to get to where we're talking about. If you're communicating with somebody, let's say over the telephone about a Sudoku puzzle. There's all kinds of excuses to talk about Sudoku. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 looks to be missing. 7 looks to be missing. Okay, so first of all, we know 7 cannot be in this one by virtue of but this 7 and that 7 within that top box. 7 cannot be there. 7 can also not be there. Therefore, 7 must be here. Therefore, we know that will be 1. Therefore, we know this will be 6. So we have completed for this column of cells, and we know the ones. So I normally like to try to attack the ones and to see if we can account for more of the ones. So here we go. Let's look at this here. So we have a 1 there that the puzzle gave us. We solved for this 1 here. That means this 1 can be here. Before we make a note, let's see if we can solve for the 1 in this box. I know we can. So this 1 here makes this 1 dead. But look at this 1 and this 1. But by virtue of this 1 alone, given the fact that this cell is solved for 1 regarding this 1 over here, we would know that the 1 needed to be somewhere on the bottom. Therefore, the 1 needs to be somewhere here in the middle. It cannot be here. Therefore, this is 1. Now, beyond that, we know that here we have 2 1s, and this is a 1. So 1 is solved for in this left-hand column of boxes. 1 is solved for in the middle column of boxes. Let's see if we can solve for 1 in this top, or the right-hand column of boxes. So 1 is in the bottom, 1's on the top. 1's in the middle. 1 needs to be on the top. It's going to either be here or here. Before we make a note, let's see if we can be helped out. And we have a 1 on the top. We have a 1 on the bottom. Therefore, 1 needs to be in the middle. And we cannot be here, so therefore it needs to be there. And therefore, we ought to be able to solve for that 1. So we have really solved for 1s, even though down here it's not indicated it's down to 1, but we know that 1 is that there. And we may know about my peculiarity. If not, this is a good time. You'll see it at the end. This is a good time to talk about some things. Down in the bottom, we're going to start putting some Amazon links, and I'll go backwards. We haven't done it yet. We've mentioned it before. We'll put some Amazon links down in the description area beneath the puzzle, and for some different things like stuff about, like I'm way into standing desks. I've been standing. I do this puzzle for you daily, standing. I've been standing for the vast majority of my day now for almost 2 years now, and it's fantastic. You know what they say, sitting is the new smoking. So I've tried to limit my sitting dramatically, and have. I'm very conscientious now when I sit and talk to friends and so on and so forth. In fact, I often will bring it up and say, this is more sitting than I normally do. Okay, also there'll be other things down there, some surprise things. I've been investigating the hell out of pressure cookers lately. I know it sounds crazy. And lemons are a big deal, and yada, yada, yada. So you'll see all kinds of different Amazon links. Check it out. Don't buy unless it's something you really want or need. But you'll be surprised in there, and I'm a big proponent of Amazon in general, so check it out. Usually when I have links, since we do have a fair amount of Canadian viewers, based on my football coaching in the Canadian Football League, the CFL, aka. I usually put, if there's links for both items in both markets, the .ca or Canadian market, or the .com market, the US market, I'll put the .ca information on top of the .us or .com, because Canada is north of the US. All right, here we go. What do we do? 7s. We're down to only 3 7s, so let's see if we can solve for more 7s. Let's see, 7, 7, that's the middle row of boxes is already solved for 7s. Let's see here. Let's go to the top row of boxes, 7 on top, 7 on the bottom. Therefore, 7 can be in the middle here, which is the only available. Okay, the pen is acting up. Okay, that's 7. So now we got a 7 on the left, 7 on the right. 7 needs to be in the bottom. We can't solve for that, so we're going to put notes here. Only 2 places the 7 can be. And the same on this bottom box. Bottom box, the 7 can, by virtue of this, cannot be here, cannot be here. It can either be here or here. So we should be down to 2 7s when we get down to it. Okay, we have 4 6s remaining. 4 6s remaining. Let's see if we can solve. The right-hand column of boxes is already solved for 6. 6 on the right, 6 in the middle, 6 on the left. The middle column, 6 on the left, 6 in the middle, 6 needs to be on the right. Let's skip over to the left column. Oh, there's no 6s. So 6, no 6s whatsoever in the left-hand column of boxes. So let's go here, top left box. The 6 can either be here or here. Okay, middle, left box. The 6 can only be here. Therefore, this 6 can only be here. Now it's looking good. Bottom left box, the 6 can only be here by virtue of the right, the middle, and the left. Left column of boxes. So now let's look at the bottom box. No 6. 6 cannot be in the top. 6 cannot be in the middle. Therefore, it can either be here or here, but it cannot be here based on this one. So therefore, this is 6. Now we will complete the 7s right here. All right. So we're completed for 6 and 7. Okay, now there are 5 2s and 5 4s remaining. We always go with the larger number first. Just a superstition. So let's go with 4. Let's see if we can solve for 4. Okay, 4 here. Okay, left column of 4s. 4 on the left, 4 in the middle. 4, therefore, needs to be in the only place it can be, on the right. Okay, let's go with the bottom row of boxes. 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top. 4 can only be in the middle. Oops, it can only be here or here. And let's come back and get rid of that 7. Oh no, it misinterpreted my lazy 7 for a 3. Okay, there we go. So 4 can be there or there. So let's see here. Middle, let's go to the center box. Can we solve for 4? No, there and there. So 4 can either be there or there or there or there. So let's go to the top box. Okay, we can make notes. 4 can be here. 4 can be here. And that leaves this right box. Let's see, 4 cannot be there. 4 cannot be there. Therefore, the 4 can either be here or here. So, yes, that's it. So 4 can either be in 2, 2. So we're still down to 4 4s as a possibility. Is that correct? It appears to be correct. All right, let's go to number 2s. So let's say 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 on the top. Let's say bottom row of boxes, 2 on the top, 2 in the middle. So 2 needs to be in the bottom. I don't think we got a clue for 2s thus far. So 2 can either be here or here. All right, middle row of boxes, 2 on the bottom, 2 in the middle, 2 needs to be on the top. So, okay, now we're going to do some learning here. Bottom right box. So we're talking about the right column of boxes. Bottom right box. 2 can either be here or here. We know that. Can't be anywhere else. Again, one of our rules of thumb when we're making notes within whether it's a row we're talking about, whether it's a column of cells we're talking about, or whether it's in either of the boxes, we will only put a maximum of 2. So we know that the 2 can only be in this box, bottom right box. It can only be either here or here. It cannot be in this top row of cells within this bottom right box by virtue of this 2 in the bottom box. It cannot be in either of these 2 cells, the middle 2 cells that are empty in this bottom right box, by virtue of this cell in the bottom left, and this 2 in the bottom left box, in its left cell. Therefore, it can either be here or here. The same is the case in this right box. The 2 can either be here or here. We don't have enough information yet, and the very first tip is never guess. But what we know now, regardless of the fact if there were twos or not, now this happens to help the example because there are no twos in any one of these top rows of this top row of boxes. But what do we know about this box? We know the 2 can either be here or here, here or here. Therefore, as an example, if the 2 in fact, as we learn more, is here, the 2 in this box has to be here. Or vice versa. If we learn more, when we learn more that the 2 is here, the 2 will have to be here. If we learn that the 2 needs to be here, then the 2 in this bottom right box will have to be here. Therefore, in this box, the 2 can either be here and only be in the middle column of 3 cells in this top right box. It can either be here or here. All right, so now let's look at the middle row of boxes with regard to 2s. The 2 cannot be on the left of this box. The 2 cannot be in the middle. They're already complete. Therefore, the 2 can only be on the right. And there are only 2 cells available, so we can make a note. 2 and 2. Here, on this left-hand column of boxes, we cannot make a note because it can be in any one of these 3, this right-hand column of 3 cells in this top left box. So by again, our rule of thumb, we only put a maximum of 2. I hope that makes sense. All right. We still have 5 2s remaining. It didn't impact on our 4s. So now let's skip to the 6s. Either 3, 5, or 9 each have 6s. Let's go with 9s. Okay, I quickly looked in this right-hand column of boxes. There's only 1 9. But look here. Bottom right box. Bottom row of boxes. 9 on the top, 9 on the bottom. 9 can only be in the middle. We don't have any more information, but we've got the elusive pairs, which we love. So we know now, because of pairs, that those 2 cells can either be occupied by either a 4 or a 9 only. It will not be any other cell. That's not always the case when you make notes. Here's an example. That might be something totally different than a 4 or a 2. So how do we verify this 4 and the 9? Here's how. That in either adjoining cells or the same cell, we have a 4 and a 9. So therefore, in no combination can 4 or 9 be here. Bottom, the very bottom row of cells in this puzzle, we have the 4 here and the 9 here. Therefore, only the 4 and the 9 can be there. Hope that's valuable for you. Okay, so we're checking out 9s. So let's see. In the middle row of cells, we have no 9s. But looky here. We've got a 9 here, and we only have 2 open cells. Therefore, we know the 9 can either go here or here. All right? Okay. Now in this top row, again, we have no 9s. So let's see. Here we go. In this middle row of cells, in the center box, okay, 9 cannot be here. Now we know by virtue of the 9 is either going to be here or here. It cannot be here. This we really know is the real 1, okay, in this center box. So therefore, we're going to make a note. The 9 can either be here or here. Okay. Again, hope that makes a level of sense. So we don't have enough information up here. The 9 could either be here, here, or here. So we won't make notes there. Again, the 9 can be all over the map there. And the 9 can be all over the map here. So we're done with 9s. What did we say? What did we say next is 5s? Let's see if 5s hold any help for us. Okay, 5 on the right-hand column of boxes. 5 on the right, 5 in the middle. 5 can either be here or here. Let's check this out. 5, therefore the 5 can only be here. By the way, since we're here, we'll solve for this bottom left box for the 8. Okay, so now we know the 9 is, I'll check the 5 is here on the bottom, 5's in the middle, 5 can only be bottom right, top left cell. Bottom right box, top left cell. Okay, now the right-hand column of boxes is solved for the number 5. Let's look at the left-hand column. Okay, we have a 5 here that makes it impossible there or there. We have a 5 here that makes it impossible. So therefore the 5 can either be here or here. So down in this bottom left box, the 5 is centrally located. 5 cannot be here. Therefore, the 5 can either be here or here. So, maximum of 2 spots. 5. All right. Let's look at the middle cell now. Okay. 5 cannot be in any one of those top 3 cells in this center box. However, it can be here, here, or here. So far, we cannot make notes. All right. Now, let's look at this top box. The 5 cannot be here, but it can be either here. This is one of the few cases of diagonals coming into play in a Sudoku puzzle. These diagonal box cells in this top box, the 5 can be in either one of those 2. Still not enough information, so we've exhausted the notes for 5s, and we did discover 1 5, taking it back down to 4 5s remaining. Okay, now let's look at, must have discovered 2 5s, excuse me. Let's take a look at number 3. Okay, number 3, as far as number 3 is concerned, we have diagonal empties, but 3 is here. We're going to complete that. But for now, let's put the 3 in there. So let's solve for this top row of cells in the bottom row of boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8. Okay. By the way, we know 8s were down to 6. Now they're down to 5. So let's look at this middle column of boxes with regard to 8. 8's on the right. 8's in the middle, 8 needs to be on the left. One of those 2 cells, it cannot be in that one by virtue of that 8. Therefore, that 8 is there. And it misinterpreted my left-handed writing for 8, 5. Corrected that. Let's look at this middle row of cells. 8's on the top, 8's in the middle, 8 needs to be on the bottom, the only empty cell. So that needs to be an 8. Okay, check this out. Top right box. 8 cannot be here or here by virtue of this 8. 8 cannot be here by virtue of this 8. That only leaves 1 cell for 8. Okay, bottom right box. Right-hand column of boxes. 8's on the right, 8's in the middle. 8 can only be here. Okay, let's solve for this cell here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2 is missing. Now, we knew that the 2 could either be here or here, therefore, this 2 is here. So, the bottom row is solved for 2's of boxes. The middle row is solved for 2's of boxes, okay? But that didn't help us in that elusive top row of cells with regard to the number 2, I don't believe, and it did not. Okay, we're down to 1, 8, so let's solve for it. It seems to be in this top left-hand box. So bottom 8 in that top row of boxes cannot be here or here. Top 8, so it needs to be centrally located. It's either here or here. By virtue of this 8 must be here. We've now solved for 8s. Okay. Now we're down, well, we were before down to 2 5s. So let's see here. Let's look at, we're down to 3 2s. Is that correct? 2, 2, and 2 cannot be here. 2 cannot be here. We have pairs with the 5. So 2, this is going to help us. For a dimension we've already talked about. Let's clear this up and get rid of this 6 since we already have a 6 here. Now, check this out. Top right box, the 2 can either be here or here by virtue of our notes. Top left box, the 2 can either be here or here. What does that tell us about the 2 in the top box? It can only be centrally located. Because if the 2 is actually going to be there, then we know that has to be the 2, that cannot be the 2, and vice versa. So the 2 has to be either here or here. Another way to look at it, by virtue of that center row, the middle row of cells in the top left, check in the top row of boxes, the 2 cannot be here by virtue of this 2, and the 2 cannot be here by virtue of this 2. So the 2 must be here. And now we know, since the 4 could not have been here by virtue of this 4, this is the 4. And now we can solve for this row of cells because there's only one empty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that is 8, 9. Okay, we knew the 9 was on the hit list because we had checked through it earlier, so let's see. 9 cannot be here or here. It can only be in the one remaining cell, the empty cell. Okay, 9 is solved for in this column of boxes. Let's find out what the other number missing here is since we solved for this 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, and 9. Okay, 5 and 9. So we still don't know 9, so we can add that. And we can get rid of, we can mop up this 2 because we already had the 2 now. So it's either 5 and 9, 5 and 9. All right. Now look at, we can solve for this column of cells. 1, 2, 3 is the missing number. And now we can put in notes for the pair if we can't solve for this top right box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. No, 9 is centrally located. However, with regard to this column of boxes on the right, we know the 9 has to be here, here, therefore the 9 cannot be there. Therefore, this will be the 9, and this will be the 4. And before we get done with 9s, did that help us with a 9? No, I don't think it did. No, it didn't. Okay, however, did it help us with the 4s? Check this out. Right-hand column of boxes. 4's in the middle, 4's on the left, 4 therefore must be on the right, which helps us solve for that far right column of cells. We can also solve for this box. 1, 2, 3 is the missing number. Okay, so let's check this out. Here's an example. 3, as far as this left box. 3 cannot be here, it must be here. See, we had notes here that had no relationship to 3, but we know the 3 has to go here. Now, what does that tell us? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is a 5. Okay, let's solve for this 5 here. Center box with regard to the middle row of boxes. 5's on the top, 5's in the middle, 5 must be on the bottom. Therefore, this must be a 9, and this must be the 5 here. Therefore, this must be the 2, and this must be the 5 here. And therefore, we're getting used to plugging the 3 in to complete things as we're along there. So 9's on the top, therefore this must be a 2. 9's over here because of that. And now we're down to just 1 here. So let's go. 9, where does it go? Well, it must go here because there was no 9. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. 4 cannot be there, so it needs to be here. And guess what that last, or next to last, number is? Very good. So that's why we wait for the end, for the 1 to be centrally located, the number 1, and we get the fireworks when we completed the puzzle. Please remember to check beneath on a regular basis, or even if you're just thinking about things and you need to shop for something totally unrelated to Amazon, go down there, click any one of the links, it'll take you to Amazon, and obviously we get a bit of an affiliate bump. It's a few cents. Let's say it's a book that's about $10 book or something like that. It ends up being like 3 or 5 cents, I think it is. But every little bit helps. You'd be surprised. Okay, have a great day. Thank you very much for watching. Tomorrow's Sunday. I won't tell you what the puzzle was. I don't even know the strength of this puzzle because I touched it incorrectly. Bye for now.